Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. This is Scorpio Cesar from the Ces Arcade, and just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks, depending on when I upload this video, I made a video talking about how I managed to pick up a Sega Saturn in 2022. And the thing about the Sega Saturn, in case any of you don't know, it's not an easy console to collect for, especially this day and age. Most games for this thing retail for way above their suggested retail prices upon release, and most people have to resort to other methods such as emulation, using SD card readers to play their games through emulation, and it's apparently pretty easy to work everything out with a satiator, I think it's called, and yeah, that's nice and all, but that's not necessarily for me. Me, on the other hand, I picked this one up, and well, if you haven't seen the video, definitely check it out. It's popping up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. And I won't talk too much about this model. This is a US model, Model 2, and it works great. Everything is fine with it. I have no issues or qualms about it. The only thing, though, is that it is not my favorite color in terms of the Saturns. Like, the Saturns had multiple styles of release, and I've talked about this before. There was the Model 1 in Japan, the Model 2, the Hitachi Saturn, the V Saturn, the gray model, which was the initial model that they released, and then there was the Model 2 that they released in Japan, and I honestly preferred that one. So I went on eBay and I managed to score a bundle here, a lot. Yes, I did it again. This came from Japan. This had to be one of the easiest transactions I've ever done on eBay from somebody in Japan. This thing, I managed to buy it now, and I only spent $260 for all of this that you're going to see in this video. And it was an absolute steal in my honest opinion. Plus, well, it only came in a week. $10 shipping. That was it. That's all I had to pay, and it came in a week. Within a week, this guy was fast, and I'm serious about this. So we got to take a look and see what I got in this set. So first off, I got a Model 2 Japanese Sega Saturn. Yeah, as if I didn't have any more issues as it was, I needed to pick up another one. Why? Because I'm weird like that. There's something about the Model 2 Sega Saturn, and I'm pulling it out right now for you guys because I already took everything out of its box. The fact that it came in its actual box is special. So that's going to go over there. Here is this. Oh man, this thing is gorgeous. Look at this. Now, the problem with these white models in particular is that they're subjected to a lot of yellowing over time. And in most cases, you're going to see on eBay, these don't go for that much. But however, most of them do include some weathering. Now, this was an odd case in particular because if you take a look at this one, I'm going to show some close-ups of it. There is absolutely no weathering, no yellowing on this at all. It was in immaculate shape and in pristine condition. I was surprised when I opened it up. Looking at the pictures, it's kind of hard to tell whether there's any yellowing at all, but from what I could tell, there wasn't that much, if any at all. And once I pulled it out of its box, I was just so enamored by how beautiful this thing is. Look at this. Everything works out gorgeously, and I'll tell you, it came with a bunch of stuff, and here is the kicker with this one. Region modded. It allows me to play my US games. It came, obviously the Japanese games, as well as European titles. I've already tested this for myself. I really don't have to worry about any of those action replay, carts, but I still kind of do. We're gonna get to that in a minute. The only issue I had with it out of the box was that the composite cable that it came with was old. Like, this thing was not even, it didn't even want to work. So I just used the composite cable that I got with my Black Saturn, and voila, it works. Granted, you don't want to play any of these classic consoles on a modern day television with composite cables, unless you got a CRT, which I do, but I would like to use my Saturn on my modern TV. So I definitely have to pick up maybe the Rad 2X Pro or something like that. I forget what it's called, but yeah, I'm probably gonna pick that up. That way I can capture gameplay for this bad boy. Now, of course, it came with the controller, which as well also doesn't have any weathering or yellowing on it, and it looks nice. It works wonderfully, just like the one that came with the Black Saturn from Retro Gaming Zone. Now here's the thing. I didn't just get the console and the controller, of course. I had to make this bundle worth it, right? So it not only came with that controller, but it came with this. This is the 3D Saturn controller. And I remember this was released with Nights into Dreams, actually. And I gotta say, I'm really liking how it looks, you know, compared to the black version that came out in the US. It's so much more colorful and it has a lot more personality. Now, the thing about this controller originally when I was gonna pick it up was that, well, these things go for like $60 alone. And it's hard to come by. So the fact that it came with this bundle was a nice touch. However, one thing I was a little bit concerned about was how it functions in my hands. And I'm glad to say that this thing has to be one of the more comfortable controllers I've ever played with. Like, there's something about it, it just fits in my hand snugly, and it really feels nice, actually. It's got that beautiful D-pad that, for the record, I always said I preferred my fighting games on PlayStation consoles because of the D-pad. That's completely changed now that I've actually used a Saturn pad and a Saturn D-pad with fighting games. Wow, what a difference. This is, to this day, probably still the best D-pad ever released for a console. So yeah, this thing is nice. It's in great shape as well. I had no issues with it. I just wish more games supported it. And I like the analog stick on this thing. It's barely an analog stick. It's more like an analog nub or pad. But it feels really good to use with Knights, and I know it was made for that, but this is such a nice controller. I love how it looks too. It looks like the freaking Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon, no matter how you look at it. It's so weird. But, oh man, it was Sega, man. Sega was firing on all cylinders back then. It's just a shame that it took me so long to realize that. And last but not least, this bundle came with some games. And I was really happy that it did, because I really was looking forward to picking up some of these. And, well, let's go through them. I don't have any means to capture them, unfortunately, so that'll have to come in the future. But, yeah, this is awesome. It came with, let me see, around 7 games. Okay, 7 games. So, first off, we have Street Fighter Zero, also known as Street Fighter Alpha in the US. And so yeah, I've been playing this quite a bit with the Saturn controller, and it looks great, even with composite cable. Next up, we have Afterburner 2. And this one goes for like $50 nowadays, even the Japanese edition. So really happy I got that one. I've been playing a lot of Afterburner lately, so that's always nice. Next up, we have Nights, Winter Nights into Dreams, or Christmas Nights. And getting this in the US is kind of hard. It's very expensive for something that only has like 2 stages in it. So the fact that it came with this bundle was a bonus, and I'm happy that it did, because as you already know, I already picked up the original Nights into Dreams. We're going to set that aside. And it also came with Daytona USA. And I know this version doesn't look that great, but back then people were going crazy. The fact that you can have an arcade experience at home with Daytona USA, and I've played a bit of it, and the music is so weird, man. Like, I know a lot of people love the soundtrack for this game. This is like my first time really playing Daytona. I think I played it briefly on the Xbox 360 when it came out for that. I also just picked up the Dreamcast edition too, so I'm really looking forward to getting into Daytona. But yeah, I picked that one up as well with this bundle. Next up, we have Dynamite Deca, also known as Die Hard Arcade. And this is another one that's kind of hard to come by. Like, forget trying to get the US version for this, because you're going to be paying hundreds of dollars for it. The Japanese release, it goes for like $50, $60 nowadays, even $70 I saw it. So the fact that I got this in this bundle, come on, man, win-win. So, Dynamite Deca. Played a little bit of it, I'm really enjoying it, it's pretty fun. Here we also have another one that I was looking to pick up, and that is Fighting Vipers. This is a fighting game that I've heard of many times in the past, but I never actually played. I finally got around to playing it for once, and you know what? It's got potential. I like where it is. I like how it feels. However, you know, it's kind of like a simplified Virtua Fighter kind of game. So I'm really enjoying it though. And I love the disc art for that one. Look at that. So yeah, that came with it. And last but not least, we have the King of Fighters in '95. Now, going back to these older King of Fighters games, you kind of had to grow up with them to really truly appreciate them. Me, I got into King of Fighters late. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you here. It's still a classic to this day, and it plays really well on the Sega Saturn. Now, the cool thing about this one is that it came in a box. And the reason why it came in a box is because this is one of those Saturn games that required a memory expansion cart. So I don't know if you can play the game without it, but you definitely should play the game with it if it's not mandatory. So yeah, it's cool that it actually came with the expansion board. And that's everything here, except the Black Saturn. This is just, you know, for window dressing. Everything here, $260, $10 shipping. Didn't break the bank completely. I did some overtime, so I kind of covered the cost for it. I'm gonna sell this one to my boy Surgeman X, so that's always good. I'm gonna sell it to him for what I paid for it, and yeah, I think I did pretty well for myself here. This was a complete bundle. Like, there was nothing here that did not work. I tested everything except the composite cable, of course. But yeah, I'm loving this thing. It's great. And I picked this up from AliExpress as well. A bit off topic, but still on topic. This is the Sega Saturn All-in-One. Now, this thing comes in a nice, professionally looking box. So yeah, I heard a lot about these from other YouTubers. These are custom action replay cards, actually. And as you can see here, this is pretty cool. The thing about this is that it plugs into the little cartridge port in the back, similar to the RAM cartridge expansions. But the thing about this one is that it's been flashed. Now this one allows me to access the RAM card expansions for 1 megabyte or 4 megabytes. It also has that 8 megabyte memory card included in here as well. In case you don't already know, the Sega Saturn has an internal watch battery, the 2032 batteries, and they're not very reliable. They waste fast, and yeah. So that's cool that it includes that. It also has a region-free mode, so I can play Japanese, European, or American titles, which is kind of, you know, redundant now because I have the modded region BIOS on this one. And it also includes the Pseudo Saturn Kai. Now that's important because, in case you don't already know, a lot of the Sega Saturn library wasn't made in high numbers. So unfortunately for this console, I have to make the exception. It goes against my religion to buy backups for any console. In this case, I have to make the exception. There are games like Panzer Dragoon Saga and Magic Knight Rare that I would really like to play. However, there is no way in hell I'm spending $1,000 or $600 on one of those games. As nice it would be to have those in my collection, it's not gonna happen. Not in this day and age. No way, Jose. I'm not doing it. So I picked this one up to rectify that. Now, I ordered 2 backups for Panzer Dragoon, and the other one was Magic Knight Rare. From someone who makes backups, Nightwing Productions. I don't know if any of you have heard of him, but they're on their way, so when I do get those in, I plan to make a video on those. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this cart works. Yeah, all you have to do is just plug it in to the back. I tell you, this is really nice. This cost me around $48. Now, I probably could have saved a few dollars. There you go. Into the Saturn it goes, and it should work just fine. Now, I haven't tested it yet. I should probably get on that. But yeah, it looks great. It looks professionally done, and yeah, AliExpress came within like a couple of weeks or so. So that's not all I picked up for the Saturn, actually. I actually picked up one of the Retrobit wireless 2.4 gigahertz controllers, and it comes in a really nice case. Like, look at this. Unfortunately, they didn't have the color that I wanted, which was, you know, the white Saturn model, but I picked this one up, and this is what it looks like. Looks pretty cool, right? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a Saturn controller to a T. It's actually officially licensed by Sega too, so that's always good. It's nice that you see they got their backings with them. And I've tested it out so far, and it works pretty well. Now, I just wish they would make a 3D version of those wireless controllers. That would be sick. But yeah, in terms of games that I picked up since I got this bundle, I picked up a couple other Sega Saturn games. We already looked at Nights in the last video. I managed to get my hands on Battle Arena Toshinden Remix. Now, Battle Arena Toshinden is a game that I've owned since I got my PlayStation. And I've played a bit of it. It hasn't aged that well. However, I bring up the PlayStation 1 version and because I was like, you know what? It came out on the Saturn. I want to see what the Saturn version's like. Can I be honest with you all here for a minute? Playing the Saturn version actually made me realize I much prefer the PlayStation 1 version. It's not a great port, honestly. They call it the remix. It's obviously of a lower quality. And I also picked up another PlayStation classic, Croc, on the Sega Saturn, because once again, I was like, I already have it on the PlayStation 1. This is one of my favorite platformers of all time. I want to own it on the Sega Saturn and see what it's all about, because I heard it was actually on par with the PlayStation 1 version, and from what I've played, it kind of is, actually. It's very similar. However, it's pretty obvious the PlayStation 1 version has the better graphics. And this one's really hard to come by. This one costs, it didn't cost me, but it usually goes for upwards to $80, $90, complete in its box. I managed to score this one for $39 through a bid war. I bid sniped somebody, sorry. But yeah, Croc on the Sega Saturn and Battle Arena Toshinden Remix. Now, that's pretty much it for this video. I think I've shared quite enough. If you're looking to get a Sega Saturn, definitely check eBay for a good bundle like I did here. I managed to score with this one. I got lucky. The guy just posted it when I was searching, and that's how you got to do it with some of these retro consoles and games. You got to just constantly look on eBay, check the newly listed listings, and go from there. Best of luck to all of you when it comes to collecting. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it was enjoyable for all of you, and if you are a fan of the Sega Saturns, recommend me some games in the comment section below, by all means. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, hit the like button, share the video with some of your friends, as well as subscribe, and yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all very soon.